Rock, rock, rock me, mama.
I'm Macy Pruitt.
And I'm Amie Muriello. And this is Rock Me Mama.
Oh, so far away from the mic. Rock Me Mama. Y'all know what it's called.
Yes.
We are discussing, since I am freshly, not as fresh anymore. I'm 8 weeks postpartum today. We're talking postpartum body. Just maybe body changes, body images.
And basically
what our
that's
bodies
like
go through.
what you do.
Yeah.
Help women work on their postpartum body.
Yeah. I'm sure if you're listening, you probably know this, but I'm a pre and postnatal fitness trainer. So
Yeah.
I know lots about postpartum bodies.
Do you run into a lot of women that have diastasis recti?
Every single woman has
Or recti?
recti. Every single woman has, to some degree, diastasis recti.
Okay. And how do you gauge it?
Anything above 1.5 fingers.
Okay.
So 2 and above is considered, you need to fix it. It needs to be repaired. So, and it's all repairable. Anything, I think 3 fingers and above is typically like, that's a big one. That's like surgery may have to happen.
Did you have it?
I didn't, so you're not supposed to check for it until about 6 weeks postpartum because our body naturally does heal. So immediately postpartum, you're probably going to have, I don't know how much you're going to have, but if you check at 6 weeks and you have anything 1.5 fingers or below, that's considered normal. And so you don't necessarily like have to try to heal it or close it. You can. But I had a lot less this time than I did with my last pregnancy. I think just because my training was more, I don't know, it was better. I did my training for motherhood prenatal program this time. And so I think that my body had I had prepared myself better for it. And I knew what to do more so than I did last time.
Yeah.
But yeah, every single woman, literally 100% of women by week 36 of pregnancy will have ab separation, which is diastasis recti.
Yeah.
And
I definitely feel like I had it.
Yeah.
And I still feel some separation right here. Not significant, like large, but I definitely feel it. And I definitely see it when if I'm doing a plank, I can see it coming a little bit.
Yeah. So you have it up, like upper
on top, but I've always had some weird, I feel like it's got worse, but I always kind of had something.
What's crazy at my core, and this is not about, we won't keep it on this topic too long, but my core,
this shit is interesting. I think
it is interesting.
I think women give a shit about this.
Yeah, that is true. My core was way stronger postpartum once it was healed, once I did all the work, than it was pre-pregnancy. And it was because I took the time to like reconnect to it and learn what proper core engagement felt like versus before getting pregnant. It was my body. You know what I mean? Like I didn't have to like relearn how to reuse my core.
Yeah.
And so my core was so much better after having E. And I think that's what's helped this time too, is I've done it before. I've already learned how to make that reconnection. Yeah. And so this time's been a lot easier. I feel like my core is already not where it was at all, but it's way stronger than it was at this point.
Yeah. I was shocked at my lack of mental and physical connection with my pelvic floor. So it's like really I never focused on my pelvic floor. I mean, I would do Kegel exercises every blue moon just to be like, oh, that's like quirky.
Yeah.
But like I never knew how intensely disconnected I was.
It's crazy.
Until after I had Farrah, I had a C-section, so I did the Nancy Anderson C-section program, which was actually amazing.
Yeah, she's great.
And
that's who I recommend a lot of C-section moms to.
Well, in the beginning, you feel like, what the fuck am I doing? This is so slow. It's all breathing. And you're just feeling like,
that's what postpartum rehab is.
You're like, I want to get in shape. I don't want to breathe. But it's all breathing and all connecting. And I found it so hard to connect with, like picking up a blueberry with my vagina.
Yeah, it's really hard.
I couldn't feel, even though I didn't even have vaginal birth, I literally couldn't feel
but your pelvic
how
floor
it would be like to pick up a
stretched.
Yeah.
That's what people don't understand. Like a lot of C-section moms may think that they don't need pelvic floor work too, but our pelvic floor, if you think it's like a hammock. And so, we have our vagina and we have our butthole, and it goes, I could have said butt. Sorry, I didn't have to throw hole.
Well, now
in
that
there.
we're moms, it's like butthole. Like everything is kind of like the grossest it could be.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
Our vagina and our buttocks. But it's like a hammock. And so what's like even deeper than just connecting to your pelvic floor and engaging it, there's the front part of it and the back part of it. So you also, you don't have to, but it's great to be able to connect or to engage them separately too. So I mean,
I'm trying to do that right now.
Yeah, you're like,
I'm engaging my butthole right now.
Squeeze the butthole. A lot of moms.
Morgan, are you engaging your butthole?
We've got to get a camera on Morgan.
We need a microphone on Morgan.
Yeah.
She said it's engaged.
Season 3, we need to.
Yeah.
But a lot of C-section moms think that since there wasn't a vaginal delivery, that they don't need it. But our pelvic floor, back to this visual, is what is holding up a ton of those organs. And so it stretches during pregnancy, whether you have a C-section or a vaginal delivery. So if you... I was going to say if you have a vagina, men have pelvic floors too. But if you have a vagina and you have given birth vaginally or
in either way,
like it's,
you have to do the work.
chances are you need.
And if you don't do the work, what are the...
Oh man, there's a lot. So a lot of women, like all of our moms probably still pee themselves. And women in that generation just chalk it up to, oh, well, if you have a kid, you pee yourself.
Yeah.
That's not true. I mean, like it may be true that you do, but that means that something's wrong with your pelvic floor. Yeah. So like if you
I have friends that I'm thinking of right now that pee every time they laugh or cough or sneeze.
Yeah, no, they just need to do some pelvic floor work.
Yeah.
Like you're not supposed to do that. I gotta text
my friends about that.
You're not supposed to do that. Painful sex is part of pelvic floor issues.
Yeah.
So those are the main two things: incontinence and then painful intercourse to make it sound professional. And then everything is like a tight jaw, like TMJ and all of that can actually directly impact our pelvic floor as well.
Really?
So like a lot of people that have a tight...
I have TMJ. Like I've always had, and I have, I clench.
Yes.
And so it goes up and it gives me headaches. That affects
your pelvic floor. Your pelvic
floor.
Because if you're clenching without realizing you're tense. For me, I have we talked about this in season 1. I have a very overactive pelvic floor. I think because I run very high speed and I don't like let myself chill very often.
Yeah.
And I work out so much.
You're also like a freak, like competitive, like before like doing all the marathons and shit.
And so I think it's just used and tight a lot. When I feel it the most is when I'm bending over my sink, either like washing my face or in the kitchen. When we clench our butt cheeks, that is like an overactive pelvic floor issue as well. And I do that all the time. I have to literally like actively think like, okay, relax. It doesn't need to be engaged right now.
Really?
And it's just like my body's natural response.
I don't know if I have that kind of awareness.
Pelvic floor, it's wild. And I wish just like we, at the 6-week checkup that we have, first of all, there should be more than just this one 6-week checkup, but it should be, I think, mandatory to see a pelvic floor therapist at least once as a woman.
Yeah.
Because we're not taught anything about it, and you have to actively seek education or help with your pelvic floor. And we all have one. Yeah. And we should know about it. Because it can affect a lot.
I saw a woman this woman, Ashley Butler, who's amazing. And she's a massage therapist, but she's done a lot of pre and postnatal training for people. Yeah. And she's just one of those like kind of hippie women that is in tune with all the shit that you're into. My friend Claire got her to work on me after I had Farrah because my chronic pain. I suffer from intense chronic pain, and I have since my late 20s. And there are years where it literally takes over my life, and it's like I can't function. You guys haven't known me. It hasn't been as bad since you've known me. I haven't had a flare up, but she was working on me because I was really flaring up, and through the C-section, like around my C-section scar, she was like massaging scar tissue around my C-section, around my groins and around that whole pelvic, like that whole area.
Yeah.
And she was like breaking up scar tissue in my like groin.
Yeah.
And it like freed up all this like pain that I was having in my hips and my lower back. And like, it was crazy.
Was she doing fascia work? Do you know?
I've done myofascial relief and stuff. She definitely does that.
Okay.
Yeah. And she does the, what's the needle?
Acupuncture?
Not acupuncture. It's called dry needling.
Oh, yeah.
Have you guys had that?
No, I haven't.
It's intense.
Yeah. I've heard good things.
But I mean, I know that when I was finally cleared to like work out and all that stuff, all I wanted to do was get right back in shape.
Yeah.
And I found it to be extremely hard mentally to take as much time as it took, and also just hold myself back as much as I had to.
Yeah.
Because you're just not ready.
No.
Like no matter what kind of birth you have, you're just not ready to jump into working out.
No. Even if you have a very easy delivery with no tearing, which to be honest, that's how my delivery with Wyatt was. It was fast and furious and traumatic in that degree, but I didn't tear. I didn't have any medication. So everything went as naturally and as seemingly
smooth as
possible. And even with that being the case, like I waited 4 weeks to go on a walk just because that was personally what felt best for me. And I still didn't do a proper like workout until I started Booty After Baby 4 weeks in. And even like the first workout of Booty After Baby is very much just like activation, mobility, and core and pelvic floor work. My first 4 weeks were literally spent breathing and doing mobility.
So you're at week 8 right now, right? So what kind of workouts are you doing now?
I did my first full body workout today. So it's the first day that I've incorporated arms. I've been using weights just because I have felt much stronger this postpartum, this time around. I felt like I would be able to.
Yeah.
Still lightweights for sure. And I mean, I've been picking up a 25-pound toddler, so they tell you not to lift things that are heavy, but like when you have a toddler, you don't have a choice. So I felt ready for that. But this was my first, like, I guess a good way to phrase it would be like a not like recovery focused workout. Because I just finished my core and pelvic floor restore program. And then I'm on workout 10 of my Booty After Baby program. So both of those are recovery programs. So today was the first like I did chest press and like did different exercises that weren't focused on recovery. And I'm 8 weeks in. Yeah. And this is my
your
career.
It's your job.
And I still waited
absolutely
that long. Job. Like
I think a lot of women
have to wait.
Kind of like need to hear that because
you have to wait.
But also a lot of women need to hear that it is totally normal to not get your body back
100%
right away, or if ever. And like I was talking to a mom the other day who like, I work really, really hard to be in shape. I've always had to work hard. When she was little, I would work out at midnight if I had to, but that's me. I'm psycho. Like I really need it for my mental health. Not all women are like that, and nor should they be. Yeah. And you don't have time. Like there is no time. You have to make time. Right. Out of no time. Right. And the first thing the woman said to me when I met her was, "Oh, you look really great. I used to look really great. I haven't, I feel terrible." And you could just tell that she felt terrible about herself. Yeah. And she wanted to tell me, and she was showing me pictures of herself before kids. And it made me feel really bad.
See, that makes me sad.
Because I was like, you look beautiful. Like you have kids. You have 3. She had way more kids than me. And she was like, and I run into women like that all the time that just feel terrible about themselves. And they just feel like they're just mom and they're nothing else. And that's like, we can all understand how that feels. Yeah. Yeah. To a degree. But it's just, how would you like, if you were to talk to one of those women right now, which you do all the time, but like, what is your advice for women that feel like they don't even know where to start? And like, they don't even know how to get themselves back at all? Because that's most moms that I talk to feel that way.
The biggest issue that I run into, and one thing that my business name is Fittest Core, and it's supposed to be like a double meaning. It doesn't literally mean your fittest like core. I truly believe that in order to be your fittest self on the outside, you have to be on the inside. And so like fitness for me it's therapy. Like it's and that's how I want it to be for every woman. Like my goal isn't to make women look good. It's to make them feel good. Like I want to help women feel good. And so whenever I have a woman, specifically, I work with moms. I mean, 95% of my clientele are moms. So whenever I have a mom come to me. Like if a dude
came to you.
I would say no. I wouldn't.
You wouldn't even train him, right?
Oh, no.
Yeah, you'd be like, get out of here.
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't even consider. So if a mom comes to me and says something like that, before I even mention anything with fitness, it's trying to reshape or like rewrite the narrative of her body and her mind. Yeah. So instead of, like your body is different because you had kids. Your body's different and it's stronger and it's more powerful and you brought life into this world. And that is absolutely incredible. Yeah. And your body may be different because of that, but you're not the same. Like you've brought 3 humans into this world, and that's the most powerful thing that you can ever do. And you have to, even if it takes time, you have to love your body and be thankful for it for that. And so starting to like help them rewrite that. Yeah. Because if we keep looking at our bodies as, my kids did this versus like, my kids did this. Like, I created them. Instead of like, this is what happened. Yeah. That's kind of where I always try to start, is just making it a more positive outlook on themselves.
I saw a woman today at the splash pad. I took Farrah to the splash pad and she had 3 kids and she looked great, but she wasn't fit. She looked great. Yeah. And she didn't give a fuck. Yeah. And I was like, I love this. Yeah. Because I've spent my whole life so worried about the weight on the scale. Yeah. And so worried about what I look like and picking myself apart to the point where it's like every day, awful. It's just been I've been counting calories. I mean, my mom was counting calories with me when I was 11 years old. So I've been counting calories since I was a little kid and just like torturing myself. And so I love when I see women that just like own it. Yeah. I feel like there's nothing more attractive than a woman that is like comfortable in her skin.
Totally. And just the goal being to feel strong and confident versus looking a certain way. Fitness to me should be seeking a feeling instead of an appearance. Yeah. And that's kind of where I just want every woman to feel good. Yeah. Like, and that may not mean you're your smallest weight, you're the smallest size pants, because you're not going to be looking, your body's not going to be what it was in high school, whether you've had kids or not.
And some women look much better later. And
true.
When they've had kids.
With like, some curves.
I feel like they just look more beautiful. I think women look more beautiful with age.
Yeah. Yeah. I do too.
I do. I mean, I see pictures of girls that in their teens and early 20s and I'm like, that's cute.
Yeah. Ooh, I'm way prettier now than I was.
I don't feel like I was. I think I'm more attractive the older I get in a different way, obviously.
Yeah.
Things are different. I mean, after I had Farrah, I definitely have noticed that my rib cage is different.
It's probably flared.
Like my ribs are I'll put things on and I'm like, wow, that's like my back is bigger. Or something.
You probably have rib flare.
What the hell is rib flare?
That's actually like that happens during pregnancy. You can fix that too.
What do you do?
I have it on my left side. I can help you work on it. Oh, there are specific exercises.
But like, there's all different kind. I mean, I didn't get stretch marks because I was psychotic
about the oil.
Yes,
that was one of the first things you asked me when I got pregnant. You were like, "Do you have the oil? Are you rubbing yourself down 3 times a day?"
Well, because my mom had 4 kids and she got a lot of stretch marks, but she had 4 of us.
Yeah, yeah.
So when people are like, "Oh, it's genetic," I'm like, I don't know. I think 4 is different than 1.
Yeah, for sure. But and the older we get, the less collagen our skin has.
Yeah, I was just rubbing. Literally, I would be like asleep, like rubbing my stomach with fucking cocoa butter and oil. I would just be like, no stretch marks. Which I don't know why I gave a shit, because it's not like I wear crop tops every day. I did used to.
Yeah.
I don't now, but like I was so obsessed with not having stretch marks. Who cares?
It's hard not to get caught up in those things though. It's
like, why do we fucking care?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because like, it doesn't matter. It's so meaningless.
It's so meaningless, but there's there is such a bounce back pressure, which like you're never going to bounce back. There's only working with what you've got now, because your body literally physically, like your body will never be the same after having kids. Our organs shift, our bones, like our literal insides shift to make room for baby. Yeah. And a lot of women, like my hips are wider than they were before having E. Yeah. I was literally just like before having him, and now I still don't have many hips, or like much width. Yeah. But I mean, our bodies literally shift. And so it's never going to be the same. No. And so the whole bounce back thing is disgusting, because what do you want to go back for? You're also, a new body. Like it's
just disgusting because like I don't know. I struggle so hard with social media and like wanting to remove it from my life. Mm-hmm. For things like this and for things like my band and whatever, I get that it's necessary. For your business, it's necessary. But like for stuff like body image, I honestly feel like it's demonic. Mm-hmm. Like social media is feed. Really not. I would love to erase it from my life. I think I would benefit.
Yeah, I think all of us would, to be honest. Yeah. You really have to be careful. Like you have to curate your... But God, you can't even do that anymore though, because
they send you shit that you don't follow anyway.
You can't even do that anymore. Yeah, it makes it hard. And it makes me... This is going to be a rabbit hole that we don't have to go down, but if I had a little girl, we would from day one of her being born be speaking affirmations about her body and how beautiful. I mean, like we do. That Farrah would be and so I talk ingrained about in her brain.
Beautiful she is every single day. You literally, it's every single day. You are beautiful. You are so smart. Yeah. You are so strong.
Well, and you have to be careful with what you say. And God, like I'm in Farrah's life so much, I have to like, I don't ever want her to hear me say like, ugh, I look so fat today.
I need to get rid of my scale. Yeah. Or I need to put it somewhere that she doesn't see it, because she sees me weigh myself every single day.
You know how I feel about the scale though. There's not been a scale in the Pruitt household in probably 7 years.
It can't be healthy for her to see me weigh myself. Mm-mm. And she sees the scale, like she stands on it and is like, la, la, la. Like she thinks it's funny, but I do not want her to have the sickness that my mother gave me. Mm-mm. I don't want her to have it. Yeah. Because it's going to plague her. Yeah. I want her to be healthy, you know.
Well, and you're teaching her that food is like, girls need to know that food is fuel. Don't view it as calories. Yeah. It's fuel to literally help us function and live. And just creating a healthy relationship around that.
I grew up in an Italian household where we eat for pleasure and joy, and we eat for celebration, and we associate food with, I mean, my husband and I do too. We'll make like a charcuterie plate for ourselves and drink wine and just watch TV.
That's great though.
And that's like but it's not fuel. It's simply joy.
But that's happiness though. Like, I say food is fuel just because I don't want it. We have to be careful with making sure it's not like a counted, like forced thing. Like it should be enjoyed to some degree and viewing it as like benefiting our body. Yeah. Versus this is bad for me because of this. Like eat it, you know?
Yeah. Totally.
But having a little girl.
Having a little girl is stressful with and she sees me, and I read that it's really positive for them to see you working out and see you taking care of yourself. And she's like, Mommy, work out, and she'll go and do it with me and whatever. By the way, I'm just finishing Macy's Booty After Baby program. I have one more class left, and
you're doing BAB too.
BAB2.
That's the more advanced.
And I honestly, my whole life have really not hated my legs and butt because they were just thicker to me. And I have some cellulite that I loathe. And my butt and thighs my legs, like I've never been more confident in my lower butt.
Good. Yeah. I'm over here like trying not to.
It's really been so good for my self-esteem, like doing it. Yeah, like I love.
See, that's the goal. Yeah, it's to feel good,
and I want to continue to do it because it's making me. I'm seeing real changes, and I feel like when you have a plan like that, it really keeps you accountable.
Yeah,
As opposed to just saying like, oh, I'm going to work out this day. Like having a program or a plan has helped me a lot.
Well, and a trainer, that's another thing to follow. Like you asked me what I would say to a woman that was down about her body. The first thing I would say, you know, like I said, would be to kind of rewrite that narrative about herself. But the second thing would be to find a program, not just a gym, but an actual program to follow by a trainer that you trust. It needs to be a trainer that you...
And online. You can do it online. That's what I'm doing with yours.
But it needs to be somebody that you trust and not somebody that you want to look like. Because I think that's where a lot of women mess up is they find a trainer and they're like, ooh, her body. That's who I want to look like.
Because
but like,
it's genetics.
That is not how it works.
Hard work is hard work and you can change your body. But certain things are genetics.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, and I'm never going to have your body. You're never going to have my body. Morgan's going to never have your... Like, we can't... you shouldn't ever strive to look like another person's body. You just need to strive to look like the body that you want in yours, like on yourself. So yeah, that's what it's picking a trainer that you trust because of what her motives are, what her, you know, mindset is, what she's preaching. And I think not because of what she looks like.
My friend asked me the other day, my friend Megan, who's my best friend, who's a therapist, she was asking me, what are your emotional blocks with the trying to get pregnant thing?
Yeah.
And I know one of them was having the daunting feeling of having to do it all again, lose my body and get it back all over again is so tiring to think about. How much work it took me to get back to feeling even somewhat human. Yeah. Like you work so hard, but you already kind of look like yourself.
This has been easier for me. It's been easier for me the second time though.
Yeah.
But I think
it literally took me in 6 months I felt confident enough to wear like, you know, some of my clothes. But it took so long for me to get my body feeling good again.
Yeah.
That's a scary thing I think for all women is having to do that over and over again.
Yeah. I think that a healthy mindset to have about that though is like, I've done it before. I can do it again. Yeah. You know, instead of like, ugh, I have to go through it. Like you've done it before, you know that you can again. Yeah. Whether it takes less time, the same time, more time, you can do it again. Yeah. You know?
And we've talked about your body when you first see your body after you've had a child, and that's like the scariest sight to ever be seen.
See, I think that again though, second time though, I knew like there was something almost like I kind of loved it this time just because I was like, man, you've done a lot. You've brought 2 beautiful, perfect boys into this world, and you went through 2 crazy labors. Yeah, that were the most empowering thing you've ever done. And I can't help but like look at it's like weird and it doesn't feel like my body, but I'm also so proud of her. Yeah. And just like fascinated with what
I'm fascinated every day by what women can do.
It's unbelievable. Insane. And I didn't tell you this, we nanny share, all 3 of us. And Polly's her name. She's literally the most perfect angel baby. We are obsessed with her.
She's a Disney princess.
We adore her.
She's amazing.
But she was over on Monday and we were all sitting on the couch. E was over here. She was in the middle and I was sitting like on the end breastfeeding Wyatt. And she just looked over and she goes, that's just the coolest thing ever. And I was like, yeah, it really is. It's absolutely incredible. Yeah. And it was a really cool moment having a girl who has not been pregnant and hasn't done it yet, but loves kids so much. Just like look at it with fascination and be like, whoa.
See, and I always think of it as people looking like, oh, she's breastfeeding. You know, it's like in public, like people just, but maybe they're not thinking that. Maybe people are like, that's a bad bitch, like feeding her kid.
That's how I look at it.
That's how I look at it. Oh my God.
It is.
And whether you're breastfeeding or not, like feeding your kid, period.
Right. Yeah.
Is a badass thing. But like being able to provide from your body to your child is amazing.
It's insane.
Yeah.
It's insane. Well, and just all the things like our uterus takes 6 to 8 weeks, I think, total for it to go back down to its normal size because it grows immensely during pregnancy. And the fact that our bodies know to do that without, like, we don't do anything to train our uterus back into shape. Like, our bodies just know to do that. And that's fascinating. I mean, it's all incredible.
Yeah.
And so I think, like, second time for me, because first time looking at myself in the mirror was like, how the hell am I going to figure this out? What am I going to do? And I did. But this time, looking at myself, I think knowing that I'd done it before and can do it again, I was more appreciative and not in a rush of like, how do I get rid of whatever this is? It was just like, this is incredible. Like, it's so incredible what our body, what it just did, what it's about to do for the next however many months. And female bodies. I could crazy. Like do a little pep talk about the female. Like, we're incredible.
Yeah. No, we are. And I feel like it's very important for women to remind themselves every day, like, you are doing a really hard thing.
Yes.
You are doing
every
it
single
well.
day.
Not everybody can do what you do. Men certainly can't. And let's just give ourselves a little bit more grace.
Yeah.
You know, when it comes to our bodies, like, and I'm talking to myself and everybody, like, let's just understand, if you're listening to this podcast, you most likely had a child, or you're having a child, or you're interested in this for some fucking reason.
Thanks for the support.
Yeah, thank you. But you did something really hard. You're currently doing something really hard, and you're doing it really well.
You are.
And your body is like your Medal of Honor.
It is. It's literally like a what's the word? I was about to say yearbook. That's not the right word.
Your body is your yearbook.
It's your yearbook. I'm like, you're like memento. Like,
yes,
this is what created this.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm trying to say? It's not.
What is she trying to say?
How will I know?
Yeah,
I don't know.
None of us know.
I just it's a
a symbol of all of the
maybe
beautiful
that's what I'm
things
going
that
for.
you made. You know,
and like without that, your kids would not be there.
And also, one more thing before we wrap up, like, it is kind of freeing to, once you have kids, even though you do care, you definitely care less about things like, oh, my tits sag a little bit, or oh, my, you know, like, things that you thought that would ruin your life.
Your priorities change
when you were younger.
Yeah,
you're like,
right. It does. It really doesn't matter. Yeah.
Because it's like, you got kids, you did something really fucking hard.
Yeah.
And you're killing it. Like, all right.
Yeah.
A couple stretch marks, some saggy boobies.
Bring it. Bring it, bitch.
Bring it.
Because they're doing the most.
Yeah, they're doing the most.
Like, every single day. Cheers.
We're here for you. We're here to build you up.
And in case nobody's told you, Mama, you're doing a great job.
You're doing a great job.
And your body is beautiful.
Yes.
Cheers to all of the postpartum bodies and loving them the way they are.
Yes. Cheers.
Rock, rock, rock me, mama.